Last time we talked about OR saying or most of the time, unless it comes at the end of a multi-syllable word, and then it will say like this one, or like this one, or like tractor. We don't say tractor, and we don't say sailor. Forgive my handwriting. We don't say sailor or tractor. We say tractor, sailor. So if OR comes at the end of a multi-syllable word, more than one syllable, then it's going to say So these words would be number one, floor tea. It's kind of hard. Floor tea. Number two, blistiful. No, I need to remember this rule. Blistifer. So that's blistifer. If you said blistifor, it's okay. But blistifer would be technically correct. Number two, bepiporti. Bepiporti. Who created these words? I don't know. She must have been some crazy lady. Bepiporti. Number four. It was me, by the way. I'm not making fun of anybody except myself. Slorpendrump. Now, let me tell you what this O is doing here. If you notice, this is an RO and this is an OR. Our lesson was on OR. This says OR. When O comes almost to the end of a multi-syllable word, it's going to say and change to the schwa sound. I don't know if anybody was here during O month, but that is what we learned. When O comes almost to the end of a longer word, it's going to say That's why that word is florpendrump. Florpendrump. Make sure no L slips in right here. And if you said florpendrump, it's okay. These are nonsense words, so who knows? Maybe it is florpendrump. Technically, florpendrump. Number five, this is a soft C because there's an E after it. Semplort. Semplort. Number six, soft G because there's an E after it. Jeportimp. Jeportimp. 7, Stiffendraper. Stiffendraper. When you pronounce it, I want you to pronounce that D really well so it doesn't turn into like a G sound. We don't want to say Stiffendraper. Pronounce that D really well. Stiffendraper. Number 8, Gypishorm. Gypishorm. Number 9 is a soft C because there's an I after it. Citadorm. Citadorm. And number 10, there's that OR right there. Lestimordipi. Lestimordipi. Wow. Doozies. Doozies. All right, let's go to today's lesson. Today we're going to talk about IR, ER, UR, which all say the same thing, AR, which says R, and OR, which says OR. We're going to talk about all of those vowel-controlled R's. I'll put that in the chat here. So ER, IR, and UR, that all says with a really dropped jaw, R, so that you can differentiate that sound from the This one is OR. It's a round mouth. OR has to be different from the dropped jaw. R, OR. Okay? So we're going to be going over all of those today. But first, let's go do some phonemic awareness warm-ups. Now, all three of these pictures are hard. So I want you to give yourself a little grace if they seem difficult or if you don't get the exact number of sounds correct, okay? Give yourself some grace because these are hard. So number 1, how many sounds in potatoes? Put it in the chat. Potatoes. Stretch it out. oat, eight, oats. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Got a lot of sixes and sevens, a couple other numbers. So let's see. Potatoes has p, o, eight, o, z. Did I do that right? Oat, eight, o, z. If you said six, you might have just left off that last letter. You might have just done potato. If so, you did it right. But if when you make that word plural, but yes, that's making its vibrating z sound, yeah, then it's going to be seven. Potatoes. All right, lemonade. How many sounds in lemonade? Lemonade has a schwa in it. A schwa is the sound, which can easily disappear into the sounds right next to it. So make sure that you get that sound off all by itself. Lots of sixes and sevens. So lemonade has l, e, m, a. There's that schwa. N, a, d. L, e, m, a, n, a, d. Did that sound just like a bunch of random sounds to you? Chat if like when I say those sounds, if they just sound super disjointed. Let me say them faster and see if that's a little easier for you to hear. O, m, a, n, lemonade, lemonade. 7 sounds. Right. Accident. How many sounds in accident? Another doozy. Take your time, stretch it out. Accident probably has more sounds than you think. Here we go. But first I want to talk to you, before I tell you the sounds, about those 2 C's. When you spell accident, let me put it in the chat. You have 2 C's right there, and those 2 C's are saying 2 different things because there's always a because, right? That first C is making its hard sound because the next letter is not an E, I, or Y. That second C is making its soft sound because the next letter is an E, I, or Y. So that's why those 2 C's right next to each other say 2 different things. Accident. So we have the sounds a, id, e, accident. 8 sounds. Didn't get very many 8s. 4s, a lot of 4s to 7s. So that one was a doozy. Yeah. What happens to have, I believe, as many sounds as there are letters. Yes. So if you want to go back up in the chat and look at that word, every single grapheme, every single letter has a sound. There's no like vowel teams or digraphs. Every letter, you can see all of the sounds in there. Nice, Adama. Accident. No 2 N's. I just did. Every sound is represented by a letter. So that'll be easier. See those sounds. Okay, so here we go to our combination Vowel R. Usually we do a combo class at the end of the month, but this month I'm teaching kind of two chunks of rules, R controlled vowels and W controlled vowels. So right now we've already learned all of the R controlled vowels, so now I'm doing a little review on those. Then we're going to do W controlled vowels and we'll do a little review on those. And then at the end of the month, we're going to do a review on both. Yeah. Okay, so AR says R, OR says OR. Remember to drop your jaw on the R, nice round mouth on OR, and then ER, IR, and UR all say So when we mark these words, here's what that's going to look like. I hope this is going to be fun for you to put into practice all the things that you've learned today. Okay, so here we have an OR. Here we have an I, because the next two letters are consonants. Hard C. Ort. I. Core-tipped. 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 Anytime, by the way, you see a word that ends with PT, it's a Latin word in the real world. Okay, so let's mark your number 1. We're going to do your OR and your I. So this word is P, or, I, P. Porfimp. Porfimp. Yeah? Fimp. Okay, over to my number 2. I have a soft G here because of that I. IR says This O is going to say its short sound, ah, because the next two letters are consonants. And Y at the end of a longer word usually says E. So we have J, T, A, E. Jertompi. 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 Go ahead and try yours. You also have a soft C. Okay, so when we pencil read this word, we have serp, is, e, serpisty, serpisty, serpisty. Let me talk to you about this Y. Because I teach you a lot that Y at the end of multisyllable words is going to say the E sound. Y is going to make the I sound at the end of short words always. You can take that rule to the bank. My, shy, try, fry, cry, sty. If Y is at the end of a very short one-syllable word, it will say I. Once in a while at the end of longer words, it'll say I, but usually it's going to say E. That's why we put the E sound at the end, because that's probably an 80 to 80. Okay, my number 3. Here I have an E because the next two letters are consonants. Here I have an I because it's in the middle syllable. Here I have an A because the letter 2 doors down is a vowel. And here I have an because OR at the end says Let me see all those rules again. I have a short E, because the next two letters are consonants. I have a short I because I is in the middle, make their short sound. I have a long A because of the tap 2 rule. There's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. And OR at the end says So when we pencil read that word, we have S, E, N, T, I, A, T, One sound at a time. Se, sen, sent, sente, sentim, centimate, centimate, centimeter, centimeter. Try yours. Okay, so we have b, s. You might recognize best right there. I, g, a, t, You might recognize gator. Just get that I in the middle, and you will have bestigator. Bestigator rhymes with investigator. Bestigator. How did you do on that? Nice. Let's do my number 4. So here I have an AR that says R. An E with 2 consonants after it says E. And an I without a vowel 1 or 2 doors down says I. So P, R, S, E, N, T, I, M. One sound at a time. Par, parse, parse, parsen, parsent, parsente, parsentim, parsentim. If you guys are reading these, you're doing amazing. You are doing amazing. Who can read these, right? Most people can't, but now you can. All right, let's go ahead and mark yours. So we have S, R, I, sartempit. Sartempit. You're going to see M before P a lot. See up here and right here? M comes before P a lot, and it's hard in the real world. It's hard when you're speaking. This is just a spelling trick. It's hard when you're speaking to know if that is an M or an N that's coming before the P, because your mouth closes to make the P sound. So like umpire. You might not know if it's a UN or an UM just by me saying it. Umpire. Umpire. You might be like, if I went to spell that, is that a UN or a UM? It's always going to be an M before a P. And it's always going to be an M before a B, by the way. That's just a little spelling hack. So sartempit. Okay, the fun part. We get to try some extra practice. If you would like to have some personal feedback while you try some of these, let me know. I believe I have a volunteer for number 1 already.